everybody, Steve from GuitarNiche here. Got a special episode today. Truss rods and adjusting them. How do they work and how do you adjust them? What's behind the scenes? All this stuff about righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. People get confused as crap and can't figure this stuff out. The purpose here is I'm going to show you the mechanism behind how it works. All right. So I have here. This is actually a truss rod out of a bass. It's fairly long. The guitar we have in front of us here. It's a nice Dillion. Okay. By comparison, okay, you'll see that this truss rod is really quite long. It's like, no, definitely bass. Guitar truss rod would be roughly about that length. Okay. All right. Maybe a little. Now, let's see if you can see this here. Okay. Anyway, before I get into that, this would be inserted into the neck. There's a channel in the neck, and the fretboard is glued on top of it. You notice that it looks black, but that's a vinyl sheath that's been applied over top of what are actually two pieces of steel, and they're kind of like this, and as you tighten one, the other one will kind of go along for the ride because they're fixed at one end here. Okay, there's the adjuster, and there's where this is welded on one end, and the adjusting part of it actually floats freely through here. So this top one will move, the bottom one is fixed and is got to go for the ride. Okay. Anyway, so I hope you can see this. There's actually a slight curve in that. Okay, and that's typically how they're installed. They'll have a little bit of a curve to begin with. Okay, but now I'm going to adjust this. But first, I'll show you what's going on here with this adjuster. You see that? Okay, that's my adjuster. I think this is out of an offshore unit of some sort. So this is metric, and it's a little smaller than what you would find in a say Fender product or whatnot. Okay, this is what's going on. Okay, a simple nut and a bolt is my illustration. This is the end of the truss rod. The bolt is the end of the truss rod. Okay? The nut is the part that you would actually adjust. That's the part that you're sticking the wrench into, or the screwdriver, whatever. That's the part that you're actually moving. Okay? So I got to do it from this angle here. But let's say, okay, here's the end of the truss rod, encased in the instrument and all that. And what I'm going to do, as I adjust it, I'm literally turning that nut. So you see how it compresses. It moves along the shaft. Okay? Whether the truss rod is installed this way or that way, the mechanism is exactly the same. It's just a simple nut and a bolt. So next time you're trying to figure this out, remember, okay, it's just a nut and a bolt. Here I am loosening up the truss rod. Simple as that. I'm undoing that nut, or I'm tightening it up. Okay? Simple as that. Now what happens when I adjust this truss rod? Okay, give that a little bit of a torque. It's a little easier when it's inside the neck. Okay. Sorry, I gotta hang on to it here. Okay. Alrighty. Now you should be able to see that is a fair bit of a curve. All right. So we've induced a lot more pressure in there. You should be able to see a bit of a smile there. What that does is it's going to push against, say if we use our example here, the strings are wanting to do this with the neck. Okay, they want to pull the neck up. They want to scoop it up. This literally, given enough pressure, wants to collapse. So the truss rod encased in the neck combats that pressure along this skinny hunk of wood, i.e. the neck. And that curve, as you keep inducing pressure on it, in this case it would be installed like so, as you induce pressure on that, it forces that neck to come back, or anywhere you want it. They're relatively inexpensive. You know, I don't know why the manufacturers, a good truss rod goes a long way and saves you a lot of grief. Anyway, that's kind of it for what I wanted to get out of this illustration. I hope you got something out of that. Okay, again, remember, nut and a bolt. There's the end of the truss rod, the threaded part. There's your adjuster, the nut. Tightening it up. Loosening it. Done deal. Anyway, thanks for coming out. Again, my name is Steve from GuitarNiche, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.